Hi, this is Dallas McFeeters. Saw an interesting article on LinkedIn that came from the Harvard Business Review. Got me thinking about the different audiences that we train, whether we go global or even just within the States. It was originally designed for negotiators working with people from different parts of the world. Got me thinking about the different types of learners that we might encounter, as well as some of the different trainers that I've had the opportunity to work with. What's been your experience? Consider the different quadrants on this chart. Think about some of the people you've had to train, or some of the trainers that you've experienced. Let's look at each quadrant and what it might mean from a learner's perspective. When you're training learners who are from emotionally expressive and confrontational cultures, they may come across as critical, but at least you know what they're thinking, right? Many of us have had the experience of those who challenge us as trainers, who confront us, who resist, and that makes a lot of trainers uncomfortable, but it sure beats some of the other alternatives, especially if you're from the quadrant that's emotionally unexpressive. Then it seems like your audience is not really that interested or motivated concerning the material that you're training. Either way, I do prefer the left side quadrants. When you get to the right-hand side of these quadrants, those who avoid confrontation, the ones at the top right, they tend to be positive, they say nice things, but actually they just don't want to offend or rock the boat. Then, of course, the worst are those who seem like they're not interested at all. Surely you're never going to really know what they're thinking, how they feel about the training. Knowing this, of course, begs the question, what will we do differently? To meet the needs of the different types of learners that we may have in our audience. What makes it even more complicated is when you think about the possible mix that we may encounter. But then I also began thinking about what about the different types of trainers, the different regions they may be from, and how that affects their delivery style. If you look at the different quadrants here, if you're a trainer that is emotionally unexpressive and you like to avoid confrontation, you may just seem bored with your job and perceived as uninteresting. Or you may be perceived as uninteresting, yet trying to sell something because you're emotionally expressive. Or if you're in the upper left quadrant, maybe you're perceived as condescending. You're the expert and challenging the audience all the time. Or just simply perceived as patronizing, going through the motions. Again, knowing this, what will you do differently? Well, that's the food for thought I encountered. Let me know what your thoughts are.